just on the and that's part of the intro, the slip and kicking the ball.
Yes.
Who did we see do that over the weekend? Vossi, I'm mixed up. I've lost it, and maybe we can get our listeners to text in. Someone slipped. Might have been Lomax.
It was Lomax, wasn't it?
Hit the ground.
Yeah.
Didn't kick it from the sideline,
well,
but kicked the goal.
Yeah. No, only one man kicked it from the sideline, and that was Cameron Smith. All right, Cameron, we're down to 8.
Yes.
The power rankings right now, who are those with the arrow pointing up going into the finals, and who are those with an arrow pointing down or an arrow going sideways? I'll give you a little bit of a parachute, because we've put a bit of shade on Penrith today.
Really?
Like, you can't say, well, the point I make is that they're not in the same shape they have been going into the previous 4 final series. So it's too far to say they're in poor shape, but they are in poorer shape than they have been in the 4 previous years. So they're not going into the finals with a bullet or massive momentum, are they? You've got to concede that.
No, well, they're a very different side, aren't they, from the last couple of years in particular. And we've seen that throughout this entire season, not just over the last couple of weeks or leading into this final series. Like, they've had some personnel changes, as they've had in the last couple of seasons as well. But, you know, they haven't quite hit the heights of what they have in the past couple of years. But I'm certainly not going to be one to say, look, they can't win it, because I think they absolutely can, along with a few other teams in the top 8. If I give a few, I'd say 3 teams on the up from the weekend. I'd say Storm, I'd say Cronulla, which makes for an interesting first up major semi-final down there in Melbourne on Saturday afternoon actually, and I'd also throw the Cowboys in there too. Geez, they were impressive. Very, very impressive in their game against the Doggies. It's the best. I reckon it's the best I've seen them play all season, to be honest.
Could it be coming at the right time of the year?
Wow.
Could it all just turn around? Because we've crossed to Brisbane this morning to catch up with Corey and Heels. How much do you trust the Cowboys can put another performance like that together? They have the players to do it, Cameron, don't they? Certainly have the players, the attacking players to do it. It's just around their attitude around defence. Yeah, well, that's the thing, right? Is with the Cowboys, I think everyone's been watching this side this year go about their business and thinking, well, they just really haven't hit the heights of anyone's expectation or what we thought they could play like. But certainly the other night they showed us, or they reminded everyone what they're actually capable of doing. And
okay, Cameron.
Yeah, they just...
Yeah, okay. But is that capable? Yeah, if they get it right then for 3 weeks.
Well, they have to.
Are you going... Yeah, well, exactly. Get it right in all 3 games. Because they have to play. They haven't earned the right to get a week off during the finals, being in the bottom 4, so they have to do it for another 3 weeks to make a grand final. Is there any other team in the bottom half of the 8 that looks like a potential premier if they got things right, or they're all a bit... They don't quite have the attacking or the overall arsenal to do that?
I'd say Manly. If they get it right, I think, although the result on the weekend was pretty poor, wasn't it? That's not one that you want coming into the first week of finals. But only 2 rounds ago they absolutely exploded. So if they can get it right, and it all sort of comes together for them, which that's what final series is all about, right? Remember the Cowboys back in 2017.
Yes,
they were written off. They shouldn't have been in the finals.
They're going to miss the finals. They're going to miss the finals.
Yeah,
up to the last game. Yeah,
and then they come out and off the top of my head, I can't remember who they knocked off, but I think it was the Sharkies. I think they beat the Roosters.
Yeah.
And there was one other side that they knocked off, which every game that they entered, that they were way outsiders.
Yep.
No one give them a hope of beating those teams, but something clicked for them, and they forced themselves all the way into that grand final.
Michael Morgan clicked. He did. He was the superstar, wasn't he?
He did, yeah. Well, Jonathan Thurston out, with that shoulder injury in Origin 2, which forced him out for the remainder of the season. So Michael Morgan took over as their chief playmaker, and
it was his running ability, but his kicking game that took that football side all the way to the grand final. So, like when you look at the Cowboys, they've got those type of players that we spoke about, the Tom Deardens, Scott Drinkwaters. And then when you look at Manly, if their big forwards get out there and dominate the opposition
that's the big
teams, then you have someone like a Cherry Evans off the back of his kicking, they could possibly do it too. But at the moment, I've still got Penrith and Storm for me. They're the two that look most likely to go all the way to the last game.
Yeah. Well, it's in the court of the Sharks. The Sharks are the team capable of throwing the whole spanner into the works this weekend.
Well,
because if they back it up, and they've won in Melbourne once already this year, and there was no Nico Hines on that night. It was a pretty emotion. They could tip the competition on its head with just one win. This Saturday.
Well, and I reckon, Vossi, that will be the way that Craig Fitzgibbon gears them and has their mindset towards this game is that, hey, boys, like, there should be no fear going down to Melbourne. Like, we went down there the last time we went down there, we had a great win, one of the best performances of our season. Dan Atkinson played half that night because Nico wasn't there, and he was outstanding. Has been all year, to be honest. Every time he's come in and played, he scored a crucial try on the weekend against Manly. So, I think that will be the way he builds up this week, is to say, hey, boys, there's no fear of going down. We just come off a really strong performance. Get down there, empty the tank against Melbourne, and if we get the win, it's a week off and straight into a prelim. This is the big test for them. They haven't won a finals game in how long?
3 years.
3 years.
Not under Craig. Craig hasn't won a finals match yet.
Well, there you go.
I'm going to go the early crow, and I know I'm not really going out on a limb here. Melbourne are the side that I think Melbourne are the side that have improved over the last 6 weeks. If you have a look at the Melbourne side, Munster is now getting back to the sort of form that we expect Munster to play. Jerome Hughes has never played better. Never. But it's everyone. It's the players around those key players. Harry's had a couple of really big games over the last month. Harry Grant, they have improved because it was the Storm 6 weeks ago. You're thinking, Storm, they're sitting on top, but they really, there's been a lot of performances where they haven't been at their best. They've just been able to win. They've been playing without players. I think the last 6 weeks, the Storm have upped it. They've upped their performance level. I can't see the Sharks beating them. So I know I'm not going out on a limb, but early crow, Melbourne. Melbourne get a week off and straight into the
I'm going to go a little further. Cameron, I'm going to take the baseball bat out here.
Right.
Brandy, is it only your association with Penrith that stops you from declaring Melbourne specials for the comp?
No.
No. That's cap. Because I think everything you're saying there, they are clear outright favourites for this competition. It's theirs to lose. They're in the best form. They're in the best form. You've just said it. You said they're the most improved team. So when we're searching around for momentum and we're scrambling, the Cowboys, boom, 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 Manly possibly. No, Melbourne have done it all year and got better. So how are they not certainties? Certainties?
No, I'm not saying they're certainties, but they will win week one and they'll probably win because there's a side that can beat them, that could beat them, and that side is Penrith. Because we haven't seen the best of Penrith, but they've been able to do it for 3 years, and I know I agree with you that they. Yeah, you tried hard. They're not. They're coming in worse shape than they have in their previous 3 years, but that doesn't mean it can't happen.
Well, let's tap into you, Cameron. You were coached by Craig Bellamy all through your career.
Yep.
Take us inside the walls that the fans never see. What is Craig Bellamy like? Like, what would he be like right now? Does he get a little anxious? He knows that he's got a huge chance here of winning a competition. How does he keep a lid on things? Does he bring anything new in come finals? What's Craig Bellamy's finals secrets?
I don't think he doesn't bring anything new in, so he won't introduce anything new to their training or anything different with their preparation. That's the one, I guess, strength about Craig Bellamy's coaching is that he's very consistent with everything that he does. The one thing that will change a little bit will be the intensity of his coaching around the place. Like just with the way he's talking to the players, I guess with everything that goes with their training intensity on the field, because that's what is required at this time of the year. Like, it's not just another game of football. It's a step up. As soon as you get to finals footy, it's a step up from the regular season. And he talks about this a lot, this time of year, is that it's now a new competition. So that will be the message to his players this year, is that, hey, forget about, like, they won the minor premiership, okay? They got the JJ Gilton and Shield sitting in their clubhouse. It looks great. They got all the photos and all the pats on the back. Very quickly, starting with today, in preparation for this week's match against the Sharkies, it'll be, hey boys, righto, drop that. That's done and dusted. Okay, that was a great achievement that we had last week with the minor premiership and getting presented with the Shield and all that sort of stuff. But hey, it's a new competition. It's time to now switch our focus to this first game against the Sharks, because it's so crucial. So crucial. If you can win this first week, earn a week off and put yourself straight in a prelim, and on top of that, a home prelim, what you guys were just saying before, they've put themselves in a very, very good position to go all the way to the grand final. They get a home semi this week. It's going to be a big crowd, and if they win that, then they're home prelim against whoever gets through to play them down there, and they don't have to leave home.
Yeah.
It's set up for them.
All right, now we go from excellence to Gutho's dive in Spoon Bowl.
Ooh.
Now, we're not joking. Brandy and I are absolutely dead serious when we say Gutho should be suspended. Phil Rothfield's written today, back up Phil Rothfield. You don't need that, Gutho. Like, I don't think we should just laugh this off. Let's not let diving come into our game any further. And Gutho's was as blatant as any dive you'll ever see that took the PI 55 out of his opponents and the game and the officials.
But how do the refs fall? How do the refs fall for it? Like, really, they're there. They can see what happens. Don't tumble into it.
Are we going too far, Cameron? If we say suspend him?
Well, I missed the Spoon Bowl. I missed it, so I haven't seen.
Don't bother going back and watching it.
Don't bother.
No, don't. And a spoon, yes.
I'm trying to find the actual incident.
Yeah.
Can you talk me through it, Vossi?
Well, it's just would not have knocked a maggot off a chopped contact. Okay,
right.
And Gutho ends up close to having to call a priest to administer the last right, and then jumps straight back up, and then jumps up.
Right.
So I'm saying it is absolutely taking the you-know-what.
Yeah.
And do you just dismiss that, or do you follow it up with bringing the game into disrepute, not in the spirit of the game? Whatever charge you want to do, I'm charging Clint Gutherson with something today, and it's not attacking Gutherson in isolation. It's just a message to the. We're not going to cop it. We're not going to cop it in any game, in elite competition in sport. We do not want what happens in soccer, in football. Bang! This is where we stand. We make a stance right now. We've got an instant to apply this to. Don't let another one happen.
Yep.
Don't let another one happen, and they say, "Well, you let Gutho off. Do it now. Suspend."
So was he tapped hot? Was he tapped in the face or something? Is that what you're saying?
Well, it's hard to say he was tapped anywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a brush.
But is that what he laid down for? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
You've got to watch it. You need to watch that. Don't watch the whole game. Just go zero into that incident, and we'll talk about it next week.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, no, I'm with you though. Like this whole staying down stuff, and I'll tell you what, coming into the biggest games of the year, like you don't want to see someone lay down to get a penalty, and they reward that, and that gets that particular team a win.
Right.
Because but I'm telling you right now, boys, and this comes up every year at the same time. If there's an opportunity for a player to do it, they will do it. I guarantee you that. Whether people want to hear that or not, I guarantee you they will do it. If it means progressing through to the next final or to a grand final or to win a premiership, they will do it. If they think that they can get a penalty from the referee or the bunker or whoever it's from, they will do it.
Yeah.
Yep. Guildford Mick says, boys, if you picked an NRL 13 today, Penrith could still have as many as 8 players in the side. Of course, they can win the competition. And Gutho Dive had no input into the game yet, had no effect on the game. Parramatta were far too good. Move on and chat finals. Yep. Understand that too. Understand that.
Yeah. Gutherson, how do I put it? Gutherson grabbed the player, and he's the one who falls to the ground. He just falls over, trying to, as I said, it was outrageous. But anyway, it's not the biggest issue of the weekend, but Brandy and I are very strong that let's just put a marker down here. The NRL, Graham Annesley, come on.